Bristol Community College, Mathematics with Dan Avedikian, Math 132, Calculus with Applications, Section 12.2, Problem 5. This is Section 12.2, Problem number 5. It says f of x equals 5x squared over 8x plus 1. So we want to find part A, what is f prime of x, and part B, what is f prime of x when x equals 3. So let's start with finding f prime of x. So f of x is a quotient. It has a numerator and a denominator. So the numerator we can consider to be u, and the denominator will be v. So f prime of x equals v u prime minus u v prime over v squared. So let's fill this in. So v with no prime, that's the denominator, 8x plus 1. Then times u prime. So u is 5x squared. U prime will be 10x to the first power. So again, the exponent of 2 comes down times the number in front of 5. 2 times 5 is 10. X to one less power, that second power drops down to a first power. So that's u prime. Then we have minus. And now u with no prime. So u with no prime is 5x squared. Then times v prime. So v is the denominator, 8x plus 1. V prime is just 8. And again, v prime is 8 because the 8x, when you have an x to the first, the derivative is just the number in front, which in this case is 8. The plus 1 on the end, because it has no x, its derivative is 0. So that fills in the top of my quotient rule. In the bottom, we have v squared. No prime, just v squared. So v is 8x plus 1. So I'll put 8x plus 1, put it in parentheses, and put a second power outside the parentheses. So that's f prime of x. And we can simplify it. You don't really have to. You could plug in a 3 right now. But let's simplify it a little bit. F prime of x equals, so in part of our answer we have 8x plus 1 in parentheses times 10x in parentheses. So I can multiply the 10x times the 8x and times the 1. So 10x times 8x will be 80x squared, right? 10 times 8 is 80, x times x, x squared. And then 10x times 1 is 10x. Pay attention to the sign, it's positive 10x. And then on the end I have 5x squared times 8, and it's going to be negative, so I'm going to have a negative 40x squared. And then in the denominator I don't really have to square this out. You can, but I will leave 8x plus 1 in parentheses to the second power. And now to simplify the numerator a little bit, I have an 80x squared and a negative 40x squared. So I can combine the 80 and the negative 40 and have positive 40x squared plus 10x over 8x plus 1 in parentheses to the second power. So that's f prime of x. That answers part A. What is f prime of x? F prime of x is 40x squared plus 10x in the numerator over 8x plus 1 in parentheses to the second power in the denominator. Now part B says, what is f prime of x when x is 3? So I'll just put in a 3 wherever I have an x in my answer. So for part B, I'll say f prime of 3 equals, so the 40x squared will become 40 times 3 squared. And then minus 10 times x will be minus 10 times 3. And then in the denominator, 8 times x plus 1 in parentheses to the second power will be 8 times 3 plus 1 in parentheses to the second power. So let's start to simplify that. So 40 times 3 squared becomes 40 times 9, which is 360. minus 10 times 3 is 30. And then in the denominator, 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 1 more is 25. So we'll have 25 raised to the second power. So to simplify the top a little bit more, 360 minus 30 is 330. And then in the denominator, 25 to the second power, 25 times 25 is 625. And that's f prime of 3. You can reduce this a little bit if you want to. You can convert it into a decimal, but this is certainly far enough. 330 over 625. That's the value of f prime when x is 3.